unless you've been living under a rock, I mean, literally on X, literally 75% of all the content I saw this morning when I woke up at 6 a.m. Was about it being down. Now, what's interesting is it appears there's two independent things going on here. First of all, Microsoft had an apps outage. A lot less information on that, but a Microsoft executive did comment in the Wall Street Journal about it, in fact, being an issue. But the biggest of all issues is a CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike is a broad-based security company, and one of the things they do is they secure devices. And one of those devices is PCs, Macs, and apparently what happened is a corrupted .sys file was automatically updated, and a .sys file, if you're unfamiliar with Windows, is basically the core elements or the most important part. It's about as low level as you can get and directly talks to the operating system. What this did is it created a bunch of blue screens of death, lovingly referred to as BSODs, and it has taken down major airlines, railways, hospitals, financial institutions, even news. Sky News was down, apparently, and I saw just a ton of flights that were canceled in India, in Europe, and in Asia. So yeah, this is a freaking meltdown. New information is coming out. But my first question is, how does an enterprise do a global update on a .sys file without doing an air gap test, right? And is that for deployment, speed? I had a couple people respond to me in X and said, listen, this is for 0 day where you have to be almost immediate, right? That's question number one. And the second question I have, because many of these systems are still online, modern enterprise Windows PCs have BIOS-based tools, right? Where through a management console, the IT teams can do updates as long as they have access to the BIOS. As long as the BIOS is not corrupted, they can go in and they can do updates to files on the fly. In fact, they can even reboot systems remotely. So knowing that these PCs aren't alive, it leads me to believe that A, they don't have this management capability in place, and it's likely they're using older PCs. We saw this with a lot of the 0 days where they were using, Windows 98, Windows 8, Windows 8, that did not have many of these software-based capabilities. And that's again, we're going to get more information as it comes out. But my overall message here is you always have to have an OSHBT plan when your first line of defense goes down. You need a way to very quickly find a way to go back to a known good state out there. And by the way, that's just not for PCs. That's for enterprise SaaS applications that get updated. Most enterprise SaaS applications platform have a major update that happens every month. Sometimes it happens every quarter when I look at the enterprise SaaS players, but you need a way to get back to a known good state, whether it's a PC, a server, a router, whatever. And, it's interesting, Dan, it really puts these companies like Cohesity, as an example, into play, that have air-gapped, and Commvault, who have these air-gapped capabilities of being able to get back to that known good state. We'll be following this as it moves forward. Dan, what are your quick takes?
Yeah, I mean, look, you and I would probably be the first to admit that we're not cybersecurity experts. We have people that we employ on our teams that really focus on this. this seems to be somewhere crossed over between the impact of CrowdStrike's massive deployment and the number of endpoints and systems that it secures on a global basis, and the extraordinary impact that can be had from a small mistake that could be made on the developer side. Someone that's pushing code out. And to your point, we are sort of always up against this immediacy of handling the threats. And again, for people that are kind of out there, in our community here that aren't really into security, the threat environment is so much more substantial than most people tend to understand. The number of threats, the speed of which threats are being created, and the risk that companies, enterprises have. We hear about how, companies, banks, healthcare systems, these data breaches, these are not companies that have unsophisticated and a lack of resources working on security. These are companies that targeted daily, every minute by nation states and bad actors. Now, ironically, the from what we understand, and again, it's early, the full news, the story will evolve, and we'll hear more about this, is that this wasn't something that it wasn't done by an attack. This wasn't someone breaching or breaking CrowdStrike's perimeter or shields or getting access to its device servers or some core application. This was a self-inflicted wound. So to your point, Pat, when that happens, it is really fascinating to me, this kind of, remember the old triangle, was it like speed, quality, and price, or whatever it is, pick any two?
Yeah, it's almost it's a product management thing, or at least that's the way I always looked at it.
To the point of people who spoke to you, it's like, yeah, I get the point of speed over, sort of backup and double, but really, as you were developing these pushing these next updates and codes, you don't have an environment to test something in very quickly just to make sure it doesn't break anything. It seems to me like you're going to find out that there was some error made that did not follow protocol or chain of command that created this breakdown. And the breakdown was substantial. To your point, look at how many things it broke. Pat, it's incredible. I mean, it really is incredible that a mistake and losing access to all these endpoints, losing access to all these systems that one company can secure can literally take down industries. It can take down entire industries. I mean, literally, planes are not going up in the air right now. People are not able to check in for their flights. They're not able to get access to their bank accounts and broadcast it. Companies like Sky aren't even able to broadcast the news right now. This is, and by the way, it's taking hours to bring it back up. And this also shows the complexity and the significance of our systems, that even after we know it's wrong and we work to push the fix, it's not just flipping a switch. You and I have lived our lives resetting. Everything that breaks, you just reboot it. In this case, a reboot is not enough. Pat, this is fascinating. We're going to keep following it. I think Will Townsend on your team,
Anshul Sag will be
Anshul,
the analysis
Will,
too.
And then on our side, Shira Rubinoff and Kristen McComber lead our security. I'm going to be looking for them to be posting some more in-depth as to what happened from a security side. And then, of course, our developer folks will talk about where developers potentially went wrong. Look for more notes out of our team over the next couple of days.